Hey, I'm Liv, welcome back to my channel Endless Pages, and welcome to today's video. These books will self-destruct. Hello, welcome to today's video. Like I said, it is a these books will self-destruct in 12 months, or shelf-destruct. If you don't know the premise of this video, it's basically you pick a bunch of books that have been sitting on your physical TBR for a while, or however you want to pick the books, and if you don't read them within 12 months, you unhaul them. So I am aware that I filmed another one of these, I think about 11 months ago, so it's up next month, and that I didn't read a single book off the list. I'm not going to unhaul those books because I didn't even attempt most of them, so we're just gonna pretend that that video didn't happen and start fresh with I've got 8 books here today that I'm just gonna start fresh with. So I guess let's just jump into it. The first book on this list is Spice Road by Maya Ibrahim. This is a fantasy book. I got a signed copy and I have like all this really cool stuff that came with it. I think I've shown you this before, like look at these awesome character cards, like these are sick. I got all these cool bookmarks as well. Anyway, that's beside the point. This is Spice Road. This has been on my physical TBR for a little bit, probably not as long as some of these other books, but you know, a significant amount of time. And I literally haven't thought about this book in months. I was looking through my shelves as to what I wanted to put on this list, and to be honest, forgot that I owned this book, so that's a sign that it probably should go on this list. So this is set in the desert city of Qualia, I think that's how you say that. Secret spice magic awakens the affinity of those who drink the tea. With her affinity for iron, 17-year-old Magny can wield a dagger like no other, and for that she has gained a reputation as the next greatest shield, battling jinn, ghouls and the other monsters spread across the sands. But ever since her brother was discovered stealing their nation's coveted spice, a telltale sign of magical obsession, and disappeared into the deadly forbidden wastes, her reputation has been in tatters. Despite Athea's betrayal, there isn't a day that goes by that she doesn't grieve him. Then she discovers signs her brother may be alive and spreading their nation's magic to outsiders. Desperate to find him and to protect him, she joins a mission sent to hunt him down. Accompanied by Taha, a powerful beast seer who enthralls and enrages her in equal measure. Amani soon discovers that many secrets lie beyond the forbidden wastes and in her own heart. Caught between her duty to her nation and her love for her brother, she must decide where her loyalties lie before it is too late. This sounds really good. Like, I can't say I've ever read anything like this before. It seems like a pretty cool and unique book. I'm also really intrigued by the potential enemies to lovers, maybe. I don't know, the line, where's the line? Accompanied by Taha, a powerful beast seer who enthralls and enrages her in equal measure. Like, that's screaming enemies to lovers to me, so I want to give this a go. I'm pretty sure that this, it says signed copy. It's a signed copy. I'm pretty sure that this is an Australian author, I want to say as well, because I remember this being like a book launch at a bookstore in the city. So like, I want to say the author's Australian, and it's blurbed by Lynette Noni. So I'm going to say this is potentially, please let me know if I'm wrong, I want to say this is potentially Australian author. So, you know, I would love to, you know, read a fantasy by an Australian author. I am very curious about this book. I feel bad that I forgot I had it. Like, I feel guilty. I don't know why. I just feel guilty when I forget I have books. Yeah, this sounds really cool, fun, unique magic system, and it sounds like I genuinely would enjoy it, but it's just kind of been forgotten, and I'm sorry. So the next one on my list is The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. So I read The Silent Patient by this author and absolutely hated it. I mean, the ending was kind of good, but like, I was so mad at the book by the time I got to the ending that I was like, not worth it. I feel like such a divided opinions on The Silent Patient. Like, people either love it or hate it, and I fell into the hate it group. But I mean, I don't want to unhaul this book just because it was written by Alex Michaelides. Like, I've had books, you know, you're not gonna love everything an author puts out, For example, Holly Jackson, The Good Girl's Guide to Murder series is one of my favourite series ever and always will be. And then her other book, 5 Survive, I thought was shit. So like, I'm not going to unhaul a book just because I didn't like Alec Michaelides' other book. So I want to give this a fair shot. I feel like people like this book. It seems less divided than The Silent Patient in terms of opinions on it. And I mean, it sounds good. It's set in Cambridge. We follow Mariana, a group therapist struggling through her private grief. It's where she met her late husband, and for her niece Zoe, it's a tragic scene of her best friend's murder. Blah blah blah. Then she finds this secret society within Cambridge, who has been shocked to its core by the murder of one of its own. Behind the beauty is a web of jealousy and rage. There's this group of students known as the Maidens. They're a group under the influence of the Professor Edward Fosker, a man who seems to know more than anyone else about the murders and the victims. And the man will become the prime suspect in Mariana's investigation, an obsession which will unravel everything. So I'm going to give this a fair shot before I think of unhauling it. And yeah, this one's just been sitting on my bookshelf being ignored, and I haven't super had the urge to pick it up, but I'm currently in my thriller era, so maybe this one will have a fair shot now. The next book is a book that was on my previous self-destruct video that we pretend doesn't exist, and that is A Beautiful by Renee Addy. I could be misremembering, but I feel like this is a vampire book, I think. It's set in it's set in 1872 in New Orleans, in a city that is ruled by the dead. We follow 17-year-old Celine. For her, it's a safe haven after she's forced to flee her life in Paris. Quickly enraptured by the vibrant city, from its music to its extravagant soirees and even its danger, she soon becomes embroiled in the city's glitzy underworld, and particularly, oh lord, the group known as La Cour des Lions. I butchered that for sure. But when a body is found in their lair, she is forced to battle her attraction for the group's leader, Sebastian Saint Germain, along with her suspicions about his guilt, along with her own secrets. As more bodies are discovered, New Orleans becomes gripped by the terror of a serial killer in the loose. Ooh, I see why I purchased this book, actually. One who seems to have Celine in his sights. But when she finally takes matters into her own hands, she finds herself caught in the midst of an age-old feud between the darkest creatures of the night. Okay, yeah, vampires. Where the price of forbidden love is her life. Ooh, I see why I purchased this. I just whacked myself in the face. I feel like this is one of my oldest physical TBR books. You can tell by the condition of this cover, yikes. I don't know why I haven't picked this up. I feel like maybe I just haven't probably gotten back into my vampire era yet, and maybe this is the book that will finally bring me back into the glorious era of vampire books. Next on my list is The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. So I've purchased a few like dark academia kind of books, and I feel like I got caught up in the hype because dark academia is pretty popular and pretty well loved. I just don't know if dark academia is for me, so I feel like it's time I read one dark academia book to see if this is something I'm actually interested in, because I'm really not sure if it is my kind of thing. This one is about magicians. I mean, the blurb of this sounds really cool. We have 6 magicians, 5 chances to win, and 1 secret society. Each decade, 6 magicians are invited to compete for an incredible prize, a place within the secretive Alexandrian society. Their custodians guard knowledge from ancient civilizations and enjoy incredible power. And here are the contenders. Libby Rhodes and Nico de Verona are inseparable enemies, and both can control matter with their own minds. Parisa is a telepath who can perceive the deepest of secrets. Raina understands the flow of life itself. And Callum is an empath who can manipulate the desire of others. And finally there's Tristan, whose power mystifies even himself. Following recruitment by the mysterious Atlas Blakey, they travel to the Society's London headquarters. Here, each must study and innovate with esoteric subject areas. And if they can prove themselves over a year, they'll survive. Most of them. Yeah, The blurb is really cool, and I think it's time I finally step into the world of dark academia and see if it's something that I will love, or maybe not. Next up is a book I purchased and I feel like I might regret the purchase. I don't know. This is Hotel Magny Queef by Emily J. Taylor. It's just screaming at me maybe a little bit too YA for me. I'm pretty sure this is a YA. This is set in the legendary Hotel Magny Queef, which is like no other, a magical world of golden ceilings, enchanting soirees, soirees is a word being used a lot tonight, and fountains flowing with champagne. It changes location every night, stopping in the same place only once in a decade. When the Magny Queef comes to her hometown, 17-year-old Jenny hatches a plan to secure jobs there for herself and her younger sister, longing to escape their dreary existence. Luck is on their side, and with a stroke of luminous ink on paper, the sisters are swept into a world of opulence and adventure. But Jenny soon begins to notice more sinister cracks in the hotel's decadent facade. Who is the shadowy matri who presides over the Magny Queef, and can the girls discover the secrets behind the hotel's magic and the real cost of this glittering life? I think I got this because it kind of gave me a little bit of like the Caravel series vibe, maybe mixed with like the Night Circus kind of vibes, but I just feel like I just have a feeling it's going to be really cringy and YA. And also I don't think I've heard a single person speak about this book, which also makes me nervous because yeah, I haven't heard any opinions on this book. I don't know, has anyone read this book? I feel like it's going to be so YA and cringy. Maybe I'm judging it too soon. I don't know. It's just a vibe I get. I kind of regret this purchase. So yeah, we'll see. Next up is another one I think I got a secondhand book haul. This is Passengers by Alexandra Bracken. And I picked this up because Alexandra Bracken is the author of the Darkest Mind series, which I loved. This is another YA from hers. I think this has like historical fiction elements to it. This is about a violin prodigy Etta who loses everything she knows and loves, pulled back through time to 1776 in the midst of a fierce sea battle. I'm also very much in a pirate ship piratey battle kind of mood as well, so I think this is why this has reappeared on my radar now. She has travelled not only miles but years from home. With the arrival of this unusual passenger on his ship, privateer Nicholas Carter has to confront a past that he can't escape and the powerful Ironwood family, who won't let him go without a fight. Now the Ironwoods are searching for a stolen object of untold value, one they believe Etta can find. Together they must embark on a perilous journey across centuries and continents, piecing together clues left behind by a traveller. But as they get closer to the truth of their search and deadly game the Ironwoods are playing, treacherous forces threaten to separate Etta from Nicholas and her way home forever. This sounds so fun and right up my alley, and I just haven't thought about this book again since I purchased it. So many of these books on this list I've just like bought and haven't thought about. I have this really bad habit of buying books and then they sit there and then I buy newer books and they just get forgotten about, and I read the newer books and not the ones that I already had. So a lot of these are just like, I'm sorry I forgot about you, I'm putting you back on my radar. It just sounds like my kind of book, honestly. And again, I'm in the mood to read sea boat kind of settings after I read The Bone Ships by who's it by? R.J. Barker. Yeah, I want to read this book. I want to read this book soon. I think out of all the books on the list, this is one that I will probably pick up first, I want to say. I don't know. Reading the blurb again makes me want to pick this up soon. Book number 7 on the list is this one, The Silence of the Girls by Pat Barker. If I'm being honest with you, there are so many Greek mythology books that I can put on this list. I think my first exposure to Greek mythology retellings was The Song of Achilles. I read that book by Madeline Miller and adored it, loved it. I've now since read Circe by her and her short story Galatea. Love all three of them, fantastic. And that opened my eyes to the world of Greek mythology retellings, even though I don't really know much about Greek mythology, so I feel like not a hypocrite reading those books, but I feel like I shouldn't be allowed to read them. Whatever. Fake fan. So after I read A Song of Achilles, I just started buying all of the popular Greek mythology books, so this is one of many that should be on the list. Yeah, this one was also shortlisted for the Women's Prize for Fiction, so I feel like I should read this one first because the writing should be beautiful if it was shortlisted for that award. This is about the Greek Queen Helen, who was kidnapped by Trojans. The Greeks sail in pursuit, besieging the city of Troy. Trapped in the Greek soldiers' camp is another captured queen, Briseis. I feel like the Greek mythology girl is going to kill me for that pronunciation, who is condemned to be a bed slave to Achilles, the man who butchered her family. She becomes a pawn in a menacing game between bored and frustrated warriors. In the centuries after this famous war, history will write her off, a footnote in a bloody story scriptured by vengeful men. But Briseis has a very different tale to tell. I think what especially draws me to these Greek mythology retellings is the feminist spin that a lot of these books have on them, like Circe and all these kind of books by Madeline Miller. So yeah, I think what really also attracts me is this feminist spin, and I don't know, I could be wrong. Again, I said my Greek mythology knowledge is not great, but I feel like women in Greek mythology stories don't get it very well, and I like the idea that women are rewriting these stories with women at the forefront, and yeah, retelling their stories, giving their stories the attention they deserve. So yeah, I want to further my Greek mythology love other than just the most popular Madeline Miller books. Yeah, I want to see what else is out there in this genre. The last book on my self-destruct list is The Trials of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. This is the first book in the Nevermore trilogy. I keep saying that I want to read more middle grade, and I have a couple of middle grade books on my physical TBR, this being one of the main ones, and I don't pick it up. So that is why this is on the list. I've also owned this for quite a while. This is about Morrigan Crow, and she is cursed. She's kind of blamed for all the bad things that happen, from hailstorms to heart attacks, and worst of all, the curse means that she's doomed to die at midnight on a event called Eventide. But as she awaits her fate, a strange, remarkable man named Jupiter North appears. Chased by black smoke hounds and shadowy hunters on horseback, he whisks her away to a secret magical city called Nevermore. To stay in the safety of Nevermore for good, she must pass 4 difficult and dangerous trials, or she'll have to leave the city and confront her deadly fate. I've heard so many adults say that this is an absolutely fantastic book. I am so excited. This sounds like such a fun time, and I feel like you're always going to have nothing but fun with middle grade books. Like, what a good fun time. And yeah, it'll be nice if I'm in the mood for fantasy but don't want to commit to a crazy high fantasy or an adult fantasy. This would be nice to grab, because I would obviously have to use a little bit less of my brain to understand this book, hopefully. And yeah, I feel like it's a great idea to pick up when I'm in the mood for fantasy but not in the mood to commit to a crazy, hard to follow fantasy world. And it just sounds like a lot of fun. So there we have it. These are the 8 books on my self-destruct list. I have 12 months to read these books, or they will be unhauled. I promise this time I will actually remember that I filmed this, and I will actually keep myself accountable to this video, and I need you guys to keep me accountable too. Let me know in the comments which one should I prioritize. Have you read any of these? Can you recommend any of them? I feel like I've got quite an interesting mix of books here. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Give this video a like if you did enjoy it, and subscribe if you would like to see more of my content. It would be greatly appreciated. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in whatever the hell I post next. Bye!